It is a pleasure to be with you on the 6:15. Thanks and welcome. I'm Kijang Henry Atimbi. We flag off with our headlines. Hawkers wailing as City Council goes on a demolition galore at the famous Doti neighborhood. Makeshift structures that were erected to serve as shelves were destroyed in the early hours Wednesday. We are going to have a report and, of course, the excerpt of the divisional officer for Duala 5 and Cliquez Asongwet in this edition of the news. And major traffic arteries brought to a halt after heavy rains caused severe flooding at the famous Dedo roundabout and the Vuri Bridge. Commuters in Cameroon's economic capital have known terrible ordeals for 2 days running. And preparations ahead of the International Labour Day cruise on a Panasonic speed as corporate entities are bracing up for a day. The 6:15 will actually delve into the complexity of the plight of workers of Cameroon. Top stories.
Canal International.
Thanks and welcome back. We can be checked on our respective platforms on Canal International. And we begin from the coach where hawkers were willing this morning as City Council caterpillars went on a demolition galore at the famous Ndukoti. Now, makeshift structures that were erected to serve as shelves were brought down early this morning at dawn. Sheriff Saleh picks up that story.
Several makeshift kiosks at Ndukoti market were demolished in the early hours of the morning, leaving traders in shock and sparking protests over what they describe as unjust treatment and economic sabotage.
Je suis à plus de 200 cartons perdus. Mais 200 cartons perdus, c'est une somme énorme.
Je ne connais pas où commencer, quoi faire. Je suis perdu. Il n'est pas repris 20% du matériel.
Eyewitnesses and local sources, the destruction happened without prior warning, prompting immediate reaction from traders, many of whom are mobile phone repairers and small-scale vendors. The affected traders say goods worth millions of CFA francs were lost during the operation.
Ce litige foncier nous a entraîné jusqu'à cette casse. Mais en réalité, toutes les autorités de la ville de Duala sont au courant.
The president of the local market association suspects the demolition is linked to an ongoing land dispute over the area. He added that many of the kiosk owners had refused to move into the newly constructed shops inside the market, citing high rental costs they simply cannot afford. Authorities have not yet issued an official statement.
And the demolition galore is reported to have been supervised by the divisional officer for Duala 5 subdivision and Cliquez Asongwet. Now we are going to have him online. Courtesy Sheriff Saleh.
It is an operation which is supervised personally by the governor, who, after receiving information on the rise in criminality in Dokoti, the fact that circulation has been made almost impossible in that area, and the sufferings of the population of that area, instructed me as a subdivisional president of the committee in charge of the implementation of the Duala Clean City project to go down to the field and clean up the place. And I want to say that before going down there, we personally went down to the field twice. The last time that I went there was last month, and I met this population and I told them that it was important for them to leave because they are causing insecurity.
That was the divisional officer for Duala 5 subdivision and Cliquez Asongwet speaking there to Sheriff Saleh. Meanwhile, major traffic arteries in the Cameroon's economic capital were blocked after heavy rains battered and caused severe flooding on the bridge on the Bonaberry Bridge as well as the major roundabout connecting all the entrance of Duala. That is the wrong point they do. Now, commuters have been wailing for the past 2 days, as we hear from you, Sherifa Saleh.
Floodwaters have taken over the stretch linking Deidu roundabout to the Wuri Bridge in Duala, following intense rainfall earlier this week. The flooding has significantly slowed traffic flow and created long delays for commuters and commercial drivers.
L'embouteillage, c'est la magie. Tu quittes Bonabi pour un point, tu fais une étape dans l'embouteillage. Because even our customers plus us, the drivers, we are not safe. Because when you take the Sansa in Tedi, you are open to Camignon, and which is not right. And even the inhabitants that they are going for their work, they are being blocked. Because the traffic, when you look at the nature of the route, you see that the route is being blocked and people are not chance to go to their work faster.
The road, which usually takes 15 minutes to cover from the bridge to the Bonabiri Rai crossing, now takes more than an hour due to congestion and detours. The situation has forced motorbike riders to drive against traffic on restricted lanes, further complicating the flow.
Nous souffrons beaucoup. J'ai vraiment l'impression que ici chez nous on ne roule pas, mais on galope plutôt.
These are things we need to work them during dry season. We need to remove our gutters, but we are doing the contrary.
Road users say the disruption is affecting daily life and economic activity, as the Wuri Bridge is one of the city's most frequented transport links. They are calling on authorities to urgently address drainage and road infrastructure issues to prevent future occurrences.
Meanwhile, drainage channels overflowing with household waste have become widespread issue in Cameroon's economic capital since the beginning of the rainy season. The stagnant water and refuge have become a very breeding ground for mosquitoes, cockroaches, and rats. In fact, this is putting the population under what is known as a public health risk. Once more, Sherifa.
Across the city of Duala, scenes of clogged gutters and waterlogged streets have become increasingly common as rains return. Filled with plastic bags, leftover food, and other domestic waste, these drains are now overflowing, causing not just flooding, but also a significant public health hazard. In the Kombi Bar neighborhood, the issue has sparked a strong community response. Residents, frustrated by the lack of official intervention, have taken it upon themselves to remove the garbage and clear the drainage pipes. Their efforts, though commendable, highlight the scale of the challenge and the absence of sustainable solutions.
Il y a aussi les gens qui vident les poubelles dans les rigoles. Qu'il n'y a pas de blocage d'eau.
According to environmentalists, the situation could worsen if local councils do not act swiftly. They stress that such actions should be carried out before the rains begin each year to avoid the current crisis.
L'incivisme, parce que apparemment les Camerounais ne sont pas tellement civilisés dans ce sens-là, parce que vous voyez chacun jette les poubelles n'importe comment.
Il faut curer avant le temps.
To prevent flooding, drainage needs to be cleaned regularly and ahead of time. This is where we must question the ability of local elected officials to implement what is called high-intensity level. Get young people to work before the rainy season begins. While many blame the lack of civic responsibility among the population for the growing waste problem, attention is also being drawn to the city's failing drainage system.
And each year, thousands of young graduates in Cameroon are left stranded after the university scouting for job opportunities, while the government is saying that a government-backed initiative claim to tackle the issue of unemployment. Critics are arguing that the programs are doing very little or nothing to address the excruciating problem of youth unemployment. Ambo Gladys Udibang now comes back to this issue.
At least 50,000 students graduate from universities and higher institutions of learning annually in Cameroon. But according to the National Institute of Statistics, only around 30% of them manage to find employment. Experts and recruiters complain that many graduates simply lack the skills needed by today's employers. Most companies now demand staff who can deliver results from day one.
Many of job seekers do not have the skills. They have till now they have not integrated the fact that you need to be among the best to be clearly recruited.
Education today tends to focus more on producing high-level degrees than on equipping students with practical know-how. That's why many must undergo additional training before securing a real job. Sectors like agriculture and forestry offer the most employment opportunities, yet they remain unattractive to the very graduates our system continues to produce.
Government initiatives such as PIACI, PAGEU, the National Employment Fund and various vocational training centers were created to bridge these gaps. However, stakeholders say the results so far have been disappointing.
The best path forward is to establish a system that aligns academic training with economically viable investment projects capable of generating jobs. Land access policies should also be restructured to support modern employment needs. Instead of organizing generic employment forums, we should focus on platforms for youth who aspire to create their own jobs, including through self-employment.
We need to prepare people to produce instead of preparing people to get integrated. That's it. We need to change that way of thinking. Instead of sending our children to school without having a purpose, and even that the purpose that at least they could starting to have at a certain level, instead of thinking that I will be working for somebody, they should think I will produce and be one of employing people.
Recruiters therefore advise graduates to focus on gaining practical experience, invest in short professional courses, and learning new languages to stand out in the competitive job market.
In the meantime, young people continue to battle with standing obstacles as they strive in entrepreneurial ventures. Many fall out of business immediately they take off. And so to address this issue or challenges, they have been reviewing their challenges during a conference that took place in Yaoundé. Of course, they are trying to sort for sustainable solutions. Hyacinthe Chair visited the students.
Bringing small and medium-sized enterprises closer to different stakeholders and policy makers to understand their daily challenges is a main objective of this forum for young entrepreneurs. The platform, in its 6th edition, from April 29 to 30th, is reviewing key issues with resource persons.
This year is much different like the other years because there will be a speed mentoring program which is going to have a whole lot of people from the banking sector and other sectors, and the goal is that they get to connect one-on-one with these SMEs, understand their challenges and come up with some kind of a roadmap on how they can go back and improve their skill and change their mindset in order to thrive in an economy like Cameroon, which is difficult.
The young entrepreneurs, satisfied with the tips from different models of the training, looking forward to ameliorate their little businesses.
Totally amazing and more than what I expected. The presentation so far, the guide so far has been hitting it hard that as an entrepreneur or as an aspiring entrepreneur, you need to have a plan to follow. You need to have a track record. You need to have a strategy. And all these are coming to make me understand that to aspire for that success, you need accountability. You need all these details that will keep you on track.
An initiative of Dennis and Lenora Foretia Foundation, geared towards catalyzing Africa's economic transformation.
Thank you very much, Hyacinthe Chair. And workers in different institutions and companies in Yaoundé are equally gearing up ahead of the International Labour Day. As the commemoration will come up, some are already preparing for the March Past and post-March Past celebrations, but others are saying that they will be confined in some reflective moments at the corporate level. At the Bonaventure reports.
Laborers on duty at this zinc production factory, they had been wondering how the Labor Day would look like. Here, the commemoration will be observed in a rather reflective mode, unlike previous years.
Generally, at the Labor Day, we used to start with some sport activities. and the gathering with employees and business partners. But this year we are intending to do things differently. We want our workers, our staff to think about the work that they are doing, what this means for their family or for themselves.
Reflections on this year's Workers' Day activities focus on social dialogue and decent work for a serene Cameroon.
I think it is quite important that at some point of time everyone make this kind of thinking to appreciate the work that is doing.
At this printing enterprise in the heart of Yaoundé, the pressure to deliver is imminent, but measures have been taken to honor the workers.
Nous avons des activités prévues depuis, nous avons des dates calées. On a un match de football, après le déplaçage, il y a des licences entre collègues.
While some companies have registered to participate in the traditional May 1st march past, others are simply cutting the T's and dotting the I's to ensure a hitch-free celebration between staff and administration at company level.
Meanwhile, some personnel in the different institutions and corporate level are already bracing up for the celebration. We stay with you, Bonaventure, Ati Bonaventure, to say that, well, others are already preparing very seriously by dotting the I's and cutting their T's.
Templates and logos on point and serigraphic machines ready to press with precision. The pressure is high, but the serigraphers are poised to satisfy last-minute customers and respect deadline.
I'm here to collect one of my jobs that was given to an embroidering company in Marseille Central.
Some clients are on standby giving directives, while others are simply waiting to be delivered.
They are to march with it tomorrow. That is why I'm here to collect to finalize the deal. I'm also satisfied because they are delivering it on time.
The most solicited form of serigraphic work are prints of company name and logo on T-shirts and gadgets and automated embroidery.
1,500 or 400 students of the Institut Universitaire de la Côte, that is the IUC, in Duala have graduated, marking an end to their academic training and, of course, a start of their professional journey. Sherifa Saleh takes us through that graduation ceremony.
The Institut Universitaire de la Côte, IUC, has officially graduated over 1,400 students in a vibrant ceremony held in the presence of family members, faculty, and administrative staff. The events marked the successful completion of studies for learners from 5 academic programs.
Je suis très heureux parce que je reçois mon parchemin.
I am overwhelmed because I know I have succeeded, and it has not really been an easy task because my course is kind of complicated, but I stayed strong so I can satisfy my parents. Graduates from the 7 promotions of Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Technology, the 3rd promotion of Bachelor of Engineering, the 4th promotion of Bachelor of Science in Engineering, and the 2nd promotion of Bachelor in Life Sciences received their diplomas. Filled with pride and joy as families witness their loved ones take a significant step towards their professional futures. The IEC emphasized its ongoing commitment to shaping skilled, knowledgeable, and socially responsible individuals equipped to meet the demand of the modern workplace.
Quand je vois la collaboration avec IUC,
when I see the collaboration with IUC, the infrastructure, lecturers and laboratories, it gladdens my heart. The graduation ceremony served as a reminder of the institution's dedication to academic excellence and its role in national development. For the new graduates, it was the conclusion of one chapter and the exciting beginning of another.
Well, Sheriff Saleh drawing the curtains for this edition of the 6:15 with me, Kejan Henry at Team B. Thanking you for being there with us. And of course, wishing you a wonderful Labor Day celebration or commemoration. Coming up, the debrief de l'actualité. Lee Piju is standing by at Bona Musali with her panelist. From all of us, it's goodbye.